Hey, this your boy Tight. Can't say the Tight without the 1205. Know I'm talking about.
Hey, yo, we back at it again. You know, it's your boy Ray's podcast. You know, we live from the ninth floor, beautiful downtown Dallas. Hello Studios, man. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode, man. Happy New Year. If anyone told you Happy New Year already, you know, I want to tell you Happy New Year. Got a great episode planned for y'all. But, you know, real quick, you know, we got to start the show off right. You know, if you had a bad day, bad month, let's reset that. You know, get the Birdman heads together. You gotta get the swag on, all right? So, let's do this. Let's say these words. Are y'all ready? Let's go. So, in case nobody told you today, just know you're beautiful, you're loved, you're needed, you're alive for a reason. Hey, you're stronger than you think. You're gonna get through this. See, on Ray's podcast, I'm glad you're alive and I don't give up. So when you keep them words in your mind, hard time comes, it's gonna be like autopilot. You're just gonna go back like, yo, I am loved. I can't get through this. I can do anything I want to. You know what I'm saying? So just say those positive words, keep that mindset. I promise you get through anything. All right. Bet. So let's get to the show today, man. We got a hot show planned for y'all today. We got one of the top, you know, artists, producer, musicians in the building. Yeah, I want y'all to give a warm Ray's podcast welcome to my guy, the homie Nas, a.k.a. the Trap Pianist in the building. What's up, fam?
What's good with your family?
How you doing, bro?
All is well.
Man, glad you were able to pull up to the podcast. Got you while you were in the D, you know, you in Atlanta.
New home, man. This is the new home. Dallas, the new home.
You know, so, you know, how you loving it? How you loving the city?
Man, I love it, dog. I mean, it reminds me of, like, Atlanta back in the 90s, you know what I mean? Like, it's all love, you know what I mean? Everybody speak. You know, it's just Southern hospitality.
Yeah.
You know, Atlanta like baby New York now, so you know what I mean? It reminds me of them old Atlanta days.
What day they say off next Friday? She smell the air? You can taste the air. Tastes good. But show, all right, but hey, let's get into it, man. Let's get into the show, man. All right. So let's talk to us, man. You know, like I said, you know, you musician. You know, you know, producer, you're artist. What got you in the game, bro? Talk to us. Take us on that journey, man.
Oh, man. Honestly, God got me in the game. I mean, I was one of those kids where it's like, you know, it's like why I call myself the Trap Pianist, right? So in the hood, you know, kids don't have a lot of opportunity. So you have to do what you either talented at or you have to figure it out. Most kids, they get involved in the streets, they trying to figure it out because they can't identify their talent. For me, I was born with my talent. So it's like music, you know, it's something that I tried to run from, you know what I mean? But I was born with it. So, man, I started out the womb, to be honest with you. I mean, I was playing drums at local church by the time I was, you know, 9 years old or whatnot.
Yeah, that's how I started.
Hey, man, gotta get paid some kind of way, you know what I'm saying? So
I think everybody got that one person in their family that played the drums at church.
Hey, come on, bro, that's where it started.
They say we were the baddest people out of all the people who were the church drummers. They don't want to get in the most trouble.
Hey, we the ones that the girls that come to church and you look it out and oh, who's there with the drums?
So I mean, you can relate to this story, like, man, you know, being a church drummer, you know, all right, when the pastor started preaching, you know, everybody would go dip off to the back. Like if a game was on, trying to watch TV or something. Sound like pastor yelling. Come on, y'all, time to come back out there again.
Right.
Or the pastor say, I need my help. Like, all right, guys, let's go. Right. Have you ever had your leg go out and playing the drum? Like one time, I got a cramp.
For sure.
I couldn't play the bass.
It's crazy. What over a shout groove or something like that?
Yeah, I was like, I got stuck because I got a cramp. But someone told me this, and I'm glad I learned this. Most organs already have bass generated in organ. I'm like, Jesus.
See, I was a kid, man. When I was playing, I was too short to sit on the seat. So I used to have to start off playing standing up. So, I mean, the leg hurting. I mean, that's where it started, bro. Like I said, I came out the womb with it. So it was just something that I just gravitated to early and then realized, you know, I always had hustle in my heart, you know, because of my father. My father always taught me how to hustle. You know what I mean? He didn't necessarily know how to formulate legitimate businesses, but he taught me how to get my own money, right? Yeah. And he gave me nothing. It was all, if I get it to you, you got to get it back. So you got to figure out how to hustle to get it back. So as a kid, man, I'm in the church, and I'm like, oh, they're going to pay me $40 to play the drums a week, man. I'm like 9 years old. I'm like, man. So when I get around to the house, man, dope boys come around. They trying to offer me little jobs. I'm like, bro, I just made $40. I'm digging in my pocket. You know, like, man, I made some money today. Like, I don't really need to do that. So then, you know, I'm always looking for opportunity. So just like it's small as something like the church, I was in the church looking for opportunity. Next thing I know, I saw an opportunity, a lane open up where we didn't have a keyboard player. I'm like, shit, I can play that too. You know what I mean? Like, you see what I'm saying? So then one thing leads to another, you know what I mean? And then from playing, keys, I fell in love with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that, you get into production, and then you get into, I want to rap at one point in your life, and then later on it leads to wherever you find yourself. You know what I mean? And that's what we here to get into.
Man, I feel like everyone goes through that one phase. Like, I want to rap. I think everybody goes through, I want to be a rapper phase.
Come on.
I think everybody got at least one song they have recorded.
Come on, man.
That they still show people like, hey, yo, this was me back in the day, bro. I could have made it one day, man. That's like the niggas are like, I would have made it in high school ball if I would have got hurt.
For sure, man.
As one of them. But one of the things you just said, something that stood out to me, is you was willing to go out there and get it and work hard for it. And I feel like this generation, they really don't have that same mentality of work ethic and getting it on their own.
Right.
I feel like this generation, they kind of want handouts. I ain't trying to sugarcoat it, but I mean, I feel like a lot of people are like, okay, what are you gonna do for me? We have a what are you gonna do for me mentality, versus like, I'm gonna go get it myself regardless. And that's something I really admire about people, especially our generation growing up, is we had to get it out the mud.
That's the only way.
Yeah. And that too. So you're talking about, you started playing the drums, and then you started, playing the keys. Are you self-taught, or how did you learn how to play keys?
I don't really like to call it self-talk. I call it God talk. You know what I mean? It's like I say, man, God gave me this gift. I tried to run from it. You know what I mean? Like I say, I wanted to hang out with my partners that was doing dirty shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, when I was going in the house back in my neighborhood, I was born in East Lake out of Atlanta, you know what I mean? Which is right next to Kirkwood, where Future from and all that. You know what I mean? But like, when I was coming up, the neighborhood was called Little Vietnam, you know what I mean? So the main thing for my parents was keep them in the house. You get what I'm saying? So I got into music at an early age, but yet I went to school with these kids. When I go to school, bro, like I'm trying to be with the cool kids. I ain't trying to be with the squares. And to be honest with you, let's be real, the cool kids weren't really coming to church. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
he's like, I don't want to do this no more.
Right. So I'm torn between. So it's like, and that's why I even, do what I do now, just even for the youth, man, because like you get caught up into trying to impress somebody or this, that, and the third, and then you'll lose your talent. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like for me, as a young age, I didn't want to take no lessons. Yeah. It was like, man, nobody could convince me to take lessons. My pops used to be like, man, take some lessons. Man, no. Because I felt like piano lessons at that time was corny. You know what I'm saying? But over the course of time, you know what I mean? Thank God that he gave me a natural gift. I was able to kind of catch up later. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how it came about. It's almost like the piano chose me versus me choosing it. You know what I mean? Music, period. You know what I mean? It chose me. So as much as I tried to run, boom, I'm back.
You're back. Okay. So at one point, you was like, okay, I got to pursue this. I got to pursue it. At one point when you got to like, yo, this is it for me. I got to do it.
Probably at that point in high school, when everybody come at you and they say what you going to be when you grow up or what you going to do, right? Yeah. See, I was at a point where, because I had a natural gift as a kid, by the time I get to high school, it's almost like I felt as though I should already have made it with my music gift because it was just so natural. But then you get in high school, you're like, damn, I'm supposed to go to college now? Like, what am I supposed to do with this, right? I never was the kid that was really interested in school because I don't like direction. Like, I don't like people telling me what to do. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm my own man. I can make my own decisions. That's just how I was. So I would always tune out. So that moment when it was like, what are you going to do in school? Man, I was a hustler. I felt like, man, hey, I made $40 since I was a kid off of music. I may as well print some CDs. And if I'm going to go to school, shit, I'm going to rap on my CD and sell them in class. Yeah, and that's what I started doing.
Smart. That's hustle mentality. So you were on a label, right?
So later, you know what I mean? So at the beginning, I had that, I guess, growing up with the influences like Master P and all of them dropping albums at the time. We talking like early 2000s, stuff like that. You know what I mean? I'm kind of in a place where, I want to be the P's and the Birdmans and all this. So, I would take the talent in my neighborhood, you know what I mean, and have them come to my mom's house and we would record and I'll produce everybody out of my mom's house, right? Yeah. So like we in my mom's house, they in there, cussing like a, you know what I mean, smelling like weed when they come to the house, you know what I mean? But God bless her, man, she really believed in me. Yeah. So it was like, she, her beliefs in church and spirituality, she was able to put them aside for her son's dream. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I basically started my own label, man, started my own rap group when I was younger. And then from there, you know how things go. It led me on a journey to try to find a situation that was professional that worked. And then I got led to being a producer, which ended up, I ended up signing to Jeezy back in like 2006, something like that.
Okay. So tell me what was that experience like for you?
What's that? The Jeezy experience?
Yeah, tell us about that. You know, being able to going through that process of one getting signed, and you know that whole time you were signed with Jeezy.
So the problem with it, when it take a long time to make it in life in something, right? You
Yeah.
gotta understand. I told you I was a kid that could already play music, had the job like 9, and then going through the high school journey, all I could think was I want to make it in music. I want to make it because that's all I really knew what to do. But at the same time, it's no opportunity at that time. You gotta understand. I came up during the whole trap movement. You know what I mean? When Outkast came up, I was a teenager. And then when the trap scene started popping, you know, I'm about 3-4 years younger than Jeezy, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So at the time when he's the big homie, he was the biggest thing in the city,
Yeah.
you know, due to, you know what I mean, his music, man. I mean, everywhere you turn. And at the time, I was a valet at the strip club because I was like, yo, if I work as a valet and I know where all the artists going to be at, man, I'm going to start sticking my damn CD in their cars. You know what I mean? So over the course of time, you know what I mean, when I get an opportunity to work with him, I was so, you know, blown away that I got this opportunity. To be honest with you, I didn't even make the best of the opportunity. You know, it's almost like celebrating too fast.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It took me so long to make it that when I made it, it was like I got caught up in the hurrah part too much, you know what I mean, to where I'm like, oh, shit, this is a real business. Like, everybody moving at their own pace. They don't have no brochures. It ain't like getting a job. Ain't nobody going to give you a brochure and say, this is how you make more money. This is how you better yourself in music. Wasn't no YouTube.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You got to either read a book on the music business or get burnt in it. You know what I mean? So it had its ups and downs. The up part was being around somebody that talented and me being like when I'm in the studio, man, with people, I'm more soaking up game. You know, I believe in listen first, speak later. You know what I mean? So being around that, I mean, in a sense of talent, oh, man, it did wonders for my talent because I was able to really absorb somebody and watch somebody on a day-to-day basis that's, like, making hits. And I never, never, never regret that.
Man. So, how long were you on the label with Jeezy?
For 4 years.
4 years?
Right.
Okay. So, talk to us the time, you know, after, you know, you left the label. You know, what were some things, one, you know, kind of caused you to leave the label and, you know, just what was your journey after that?
So what caused me to leave, and I wouldn't even really say it was a left situation. What it was is my lack of understanding the game. I get in the game, and I mean, I'm early 20s. I get in the game, and then it's like out of nowhere, my dream come true. Like I told you, in my neighborhood, I put kids together that believed in my vision of us having a label. You get what I'm saying? So I'm technically the first person out of that group of people that made it. Yeah. So everybody thinking, damn, the big homie on, like, man, we finna get it, right? But when I'm in it, I'm with the other big homie. See, I'm not with my crew. I'm with somebody else's crew. Yeah. So now I'm with somebody else's crew. I'm a leader, bro. I don't function well under somebody else's crew. Remember, I told you I ain't like school because I don't like direction. Yeah. So now, you know what I mean, I'm trying to figure out, you know, my positioning in it. You know what I mean? And from that, what ended up happening is I never kept track of my money. So what happened was I got caught up into the music business, you know, meaning the going to the parties with Jeezy, going to the clubs. I'm supposed to be networking, right? Yeah, yeah. But, I mean, you're networking, but you got free drink, free weed, free, you know what I'm saying, whatever. Yeah. And then it's almost like that alone and then working in the studio daily and not being in control of the choices that's being made. So for an example, at that time, you work in the studio. I remember when we was working on the Recession album, right? I was in the studio for roughly a year in and out while he was working on it, right? Mm-hmm. Now, the way the business go, that was during the mixtape era. You remember when Drama, everybody's dropping them fire mixtapes, right? Yep. So during the mixtape era, as a producer, this is when we learn, nigga, you don't get paid. You ain't making no money. You don't get paid. Yeah, yeah, right? Yeah. So you spending time making songs and thinking that you popping. Yeah. So now when you go to the club, you turning up like you popping. But then when the album get ready to come out, he done mixtape your music and you ain't popping. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Because your pockets ain't popping. Yeah. So I went through a lot of like mental type things, man, where I got super depressed because it was like, I got to pay my bills. I got to, at the time I was married, and I was like, man, I got my daughter, and I just had a newborn baby. So real life kicked in for me during that time to where I had to pivot, what I mean? Because of the mistakes really that I made, in the choices of what I did with my money and how I navigated through the business. Yeah. So once the deal was up, bro, I had to get to the money, man. I was like, yo, I got to figure something out. So I started little businesses I could think of. Like, yo, man, I'm about truck and a trailer. I'm going to start a lawn business. I'm going to start using my piano skills and trying to do local gigs. And I started doing local gigs, which then, as much as I told you, I try to run away from music find me. Yeah. I'm at a local gig at a TGI Fridays on Camp Creek, which people from Atlanta know Camp Creek right by the airport. So, we talking small bar area. Imagine a band that's Atlanta, man. Atlanta crazy. Yeah. We'll put a damn party anyway, right? So we got a band in the middle of a TGI Fridays, right? And oddly enough, guess who come through there? Who? T-Pain. And I'm the keyboard player playing with one of my homies, rest in peace, Los, who used to be the drummer for Snoop Dogg. Okay. So it's me, Los, and then one of my homies, Uncle Mike, man, OG from Kentucky. You know what I'm saying? Or Cincinnati area, right? Yeah. And we in there just a trio. And these guys are phenomenal. You know what I mean? That's why I say music just chose me, man. Yeah, yeah. Los was phenomenal, man. Snoop would tell you, man, that dude was phenomenal. And what ended up happening on the break, T-Pain walked up to me and he's like, hey, man, I need a keyboard player. I'm like, damn, for real? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get away from the business. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, because on the production side, I didn't know how to manage the business. So I'm trying to pull away. But like I told you, man, you asked me earlier who gave me the gift. God gave me the gift. So as much as I try to pull away, God gonna always call me back to the music. So that's kind of how I ended up, you know what I'm saying, just, transitioning after. You know what I mean? It kind of went more so into the playing and, and that led to being minister of music at churches and other things of that nature. So, I had to depend on the skill.
Okay. So after that, you had the Fridays, T-Pain, like, I need a keyboard player. How long did you play keys for T-Pain?
So that was I think that was maybe 2011-ish or something like that, right? And basically we did a couple, like a lot of studio work. So it was more like going in there with the band, doing a lot of like when you go to the show and you hear the band over the tracks. Yeah. There was a lot of production involved and stuff like that. So I think we did it. We probably did about a year and some change, something like that. Maybe like a year and a half-ish. And then for me, it wasn't even a situation to where like we talked and not worked together. It was more of a situation where it's just like he did him and I'm doing me. Yeah. Next thing I know, I'm in something else because I'm always moving. I'm always trying to figure out how I can take care of myself. The last thing I want to do is ask another grown man for money. Exactly. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. 100%.
Right.
All right. So what do you got going on currently right now, bro?
All right. So currently, man, so I started about maybe 2016, man, just starting to reveal my therapy. My therapy was piano, man. Like growing up, even when people used to tell me to practice or learn certain songs, like church songs, stuff like that. Yeah. Next thing I know, I'd be in the house, I'm playing 3-6 Mafia on keys. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how I was, right? So I would put the headphones on or whatever I could back in the day, and I'm trying to learn all these songs that, I listened to on the radio, UGK, et cetera. So 2016, man, I was at a studio with a session with a band, and I told my homie, I said, yo, bro, like, just film me playing. I think I played an Outkast song or something. I just threw it out there, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna play Outkast song. I think it was Players Ball. And then he recorded it and put it out. And I looked at him, I said, man, I'm the trap pianist. You know what I mean? From that moment. And I said, I'm just gonna show the world my therapy. That's how I got through. All the depression and all that. It's just like that piano never disrespected me. I might have disrespected it a couple times, but you know what I mean? Disrespect me. So where I'm at now, man, is basically taking what I do, my music production, my production game. It's you heard of the 10,000 hour rule, how like you put 10,000 hours into a craft, then next thing you know, you're a master. Man, I mastered that shit. Okay. So like, I'm at a point where it's like I done put these 10,000 hours in, so it's a must that I get, I got to get God's work done.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So now it's about shows, man, like, doing my own shows and working on my own album. Just whatever God tell me to do, bro, is getting done now. I refuse to fight and box and try to run back and forth and try to find my way when now I know my way. That's the difference.
Okay. All right, man. I mean, that's a good insight. So we're going to change it up, all right? So everybody, y'all listen to the show all the time. This is the fun part of the show, I like to call it. This is called... Slow down. We just want to get to know you. This is where we kind of just ask you some questions so people can get to know you, just for you. We don't know where these questions are going to go. We just going to do it. You cool with that?
For sure.
Let's go, all right? So real quick, I want you to shout out where everybody can find you on social media.
The Trap Pianist. The T-H-E, not the. T-H-E, Trap Pianist. Everywhere.
So make sure y'all follow him on, the Trap Pianist. Also, the Slow Down segment is brought to you by Lyrically Correct. You can check this man out. We play Lyrically Correct. See how good he did. See if he's lyrically correct. So go to lyricalcorrect.com. Put in that promo code Ray. Get your 20% off. Then go watch my man, the Trap Pianist, play Lyrically Correct. See if he's lyrically correct. All right. Cool. All right. So let's talk about some fun questions here real quick. I got some questions for you. All right. What are the 5 biggest records? And by records I mean songs. What do you think the 5 biggest songs to ever come out of Atlanta?
The 5 biggest to ever come out of Atlanta.
5 biggest songs.
I can name the 5 biggest for me.
Okay.
The 5 biggest for me, I would say 1 is Welcome to Atlanta. I would say Players Ball. Those 2 songs changed the dynamic of Atlanta. I would say, let's see, Air Force's Young Jeezy, because that changed the dynamic of the clubs. Number 4, I would say, I did name 3?
You named 3, yeah.
Number
2
4.
more.
The last 2, I would say, 24's T.I. It changed the dynamic of the city. And if I had a 5th song, I would bring it to Bad and Bougie, like the Migos, because that changed the whole dynamic.
That
right.
That really changed.
Right.
It changed everything from the way recipes take off. By the way,
for sure.
Everything about them, just the cadence, just the way the beats were,
sure.
ad libs, everything. Everyone like, okay, now we got to kind of.
Bro, they put their whole city, like Atlanta is big like Dallas, right? Mm-hmm. They put a whole side of the city on the map that people tend to forget about. Yeah. The North, when they came out representing that North, man, it was like, man, like that's some niggas up in Gwinnett. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
now people always want to say this, and I want to get your opinion on it. Do you think Migos would have been as big if Drake would have got on Versace?
Yes. Because I believe that Drake getting on Versace was because of the Migos.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, ain't nobody of Drake caliber going to gravitate to talentless people. You get what I'm saying? So.
There's some people he got on his songs. I'm kind of questioning, bro.
Hey, you got to be able to put the song together to attract them, though.
What was that dude? The club going up.
On
a Tuesday. I ain't heard from that guy ever since ever again.
What's his name?
I am McCannon or McCannon.
Yeah.
Drake.
That song was hard, though.
It was. But there's a lot of songs Drake done hopped on. It's
right.
just, we really ain't heard from those artists since Drake hopped on them. So it is what it is. All right. So who do you think had more of a bigger I can't talk right now. Who do you think had more of a bigger impact in hip hop? Atlanta or New York?
Atlanta. I'm from Atlanta. I'm gonna rep my hood till I die, bro. Like, I mean, I'll say this though about New York. New York for me, because I was a kid, mid '90s. So for me, you know what I mean. I pay my homage to New York because actually that sound is what influenced that Outkast Goody Mob sound.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, at the beginning, because it was Outkast and Goody Mob who had to get out here and put their neck on the line for us. You know what I mean, by doing something that would transition into what we call like Atlanta music. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I ain't gonna hate on New York, but I'm always rep Atlanta.
And one of the things that they always said was like in New York, everybody wanted to be the king of New York, wanted to be the biggest thing in New York.
Right.
In Atlanta, everybody worked together. Like,
yeah,
let me get on your track, I get your track. Man. Everyone got on the same track.
Southern hospitality, bro, is no different than, like I told you about Dallas. That's why I love it here, because it's Southern hospitality. That's what we do. Why we gonna hate on each other?
Yeah, and I feel like that's the reason why a lot of the artists down here in the South have got so big, because everyone works with everybody.
Man.
Like you see,
And every generation of Atlanta artists come together. If you've noticed, you know what I'm saying?
I've noticed a
Like,
lot. Yeah, yeah. Well, so some people at some point,
Right.
with certain artists, they
Right.
just had to have
Well,
five
man,
extra.
you know,
That's neither here nor there.
Right.
All right. So if you had a record label, all right, and you had to pick your own roster, your top 5 artists, any genre, any era of time, what would be your dream record label
My dream label with artists,
of artists that you have on your roster?
man, I'm going for the money, so I'm gonna say Pink.
Okay.
No, I just that's around. Like, nah, for real. I'll say we talking hip hop.
Any genre, any artist from any genre, time period. If you could build your top 5, any musicians, any group, what would be your top 5, your label? What would it look like?
I think it's almost like I'm so biased. I'm finna pull a label and grab one label and bring another one in, because I believe that everything that Young Money did, along with everything that L.A. Reid and them did with LaFace, I think if you took CeeLo and Andre and a Big Boy and Goody Mob, all that, and you tied that in with what's cracking right now with, like Drake, of course. You know what I mean? You tie that into like Drake and what was done with Nicki and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like when you tie in certain labels, bro, it's like you gonna win anyway. So I could take 5 out of,
Yeah. So I want you to pick your 5 artists, and make your super label.
All right. Today, currently though,
It could be
like,
any era, any time period.
I'm gonna go
5
with,
artists.
Okay, I'm
you
gonna
put on your
go
label.
with Drake. I'm gonna go with let's see. I'm gonna go with Drake. I'm gonna go with Andre 3000. I'm gonna go with both of them. I'm gonna go with Outkast.
Okay.
I mean, is it? Yeah,
Count Outkast as one. We would count Outkast as one.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm gonna go with. I gotta go with Goody Mob too. So I mean, and then I'm so real about mine that I gotta go with. If I could bring like Pimp C back alive and had him, if I had Pimp C. But I can't forget Bun, because it just
So we
worked
put
hand in
UGK.
hand.
We put UGK. So we put there as a group. You get one more.
Right.
Yeah, one more.
And then my favorite group of all time for me is 3 6 Mafia, bro. Like I grew up on all of them songs.
R.I.P. Gangsta Boo, by the way,
Right.
man. Rest in peace, Gangsta Boo. She was a trailblazer,
Right.
For that generation.
Right.
But that's even another thing. 3 6 Mafia, all the affiliates of 3 6 Mafia that work. You had Mr. Biggs.
Bro.
Project Pat,
Bro.
it wasn't a Lil White back.
Right, because
Yeah.
see, like, all of them was the people we looked up to, because we was younger than them. You see what I'm saying? So it was like, I'm a lot younger than UGK, a lot younger than Outkast, a lot younger, but it was just like, that's what raised me, that sound, because it was like music and rap, like together. You know what I'm saying? Versus like, nowadays people want to question lyrics and other things of that nature. At that time, all those artists were able to do any type of music. So
Yeah. So, quick question for you: should it matter who wrote the song?
no,
Because a lot of people like, oh, this nigga don't write his rap. Someone else wrote his rap.
man, you'll be
Should it matter?
surprised. You'll be surprised. That's people that ain't been around.
Yeah.
Like you could be in the studio with somebody, y'all drinking, smoking, whatever the case may be, and y'all putting the song together, and bro on the side, who you don't even know exists in the room, might say something to spark an idea.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And then it may trigger more lyrics. So can you say that bro didn't contribute to the record because he was there?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I done seen, like, I'm talking dudes that you don't even know their names, just
Yeah.
out of nowhere, who just cool with you and say something and then it sparks something. So I don't really have no problem with that. It's all about the product.
Yeah.
Because we out here to sell something.
Yeah, because I feel like, a lot of the producers, a lot of writers, like, yo, I'm holding his song for a certain artist. Like, yo, I want this artist to get wind of this song. I feel like
Right.
this song is for this. And I was talking to my boy Jay Oliver, shout out Jay.
For sure.
I was talking to him, like, when you make your beats, are you tailoring certain beats for certain artists? He's like, yeah, sometimes he does do that.
Right.
But sometimes, someone you don't even think likes a certain song wants that song from you. And,
Always.
It's like a perfect story. I was watching a video about how the thong song got made.
Right.
I think originally the thong song beat was meant for Michael Jackson. It actually got into a pile. And Cisco was like, yo, I want that.
Right.
I want that. And they was like, no. And he basically begged them for the beat. He was on a plane. He's like, I'll get off this plane right now and turn around and come back and get them. And that's how the thong song came.
Right. But that's what I mean. It's stuff like that happen because, like, I give you a story. So when I was with Jeezy, right, popular record I did called Corporate Thuggin' came out in 07 on the USDA album, right? And when I did that record, it was the same concept. That wasn't trap.
Yeah.
Man, I remember when I made it. It was like jazz chords and all kind of crap in it. And I was thinking more like a band, you know what I mean? Because it was my dream that, man, I'm gonna have the bands playing this, which later happened, you know, because like you on YouTube, like North Carolina A&T, they still play it to this day.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just like when I made the song, I go to the studio. When I get there, I beat Jeezy there. So it's USDA album, so it's the group album.
Yeah.
So it's Jeezy, Blood Raw, Slick Puller, right? So I go in the back to the B room, and Slick Puller was in there. So he was like, yo, bro, you got some yams? Let me hear some, hear the tracks.
Yeah.
So I played the tracks, and he looked at me and was just like, oh, no, you ain't got nothing else? Because I ain't put but 3 tracks on it. He was like, bro, you ain't got nothing else? Because back then, we weren't emailing like that. We pulling up.
Yeah.
So as I'm walking out, Jeezy come in. Then he looked at me. He said, yo, Nas, man, you got some yams? Let me hear something. I play him them same tracks. When bro heard Corporate Thuggin', he stopped in his tracks and wrote a 20-some-odd verse bar, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just went in. And I was like, damn. You see what I'm saying? Just one move.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look at God's timing, bro. One move, you know what I mean? I could have held my head down because Slick said, nah, I ain't rocking with it like that,
Yeah.
right? Then I could have left, missed him. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then boom. But that's how songs put together. That's the joy of music.
You never know God's timing.
Man, that's how it works.
His timing is never wrong. That's one thing I remember.
Absolutely.
So if you could give, I always like to kind of wrap up with this question here. It's like a 2-part question. First part, what do you want someone to take away from the podcast you did today? And secondly, if you could give some advice to anyone, could be anything about anything, what advice would you give to anyone?
Okay, so I'm going to try to put them all together.
All right.
Put the advice and what I would like people to take away. I would like people to take away that you should never, ever, ever, ever in your life give up on yourself. Don't fall for the scams. Don't fall for the hustles. Don't get so focused on the money that you tend to lose yourself in it to where you running around doing things that's not you. Stay within yourself. I'm just a product of somebody who found himself. Like I told you earlier, I ran from music, but I can't because God put it in me. You get what I'm saying? But I had to find it. I had to do the work to find it. You know what I mean? So even at times when the music business, because music business get hard, bro. Like, because, like I told you, they ain't giving you no handbook when you come in the game.
Yeah.
So my main thing is, especially for the young dudes that's doing music, you know what I mean? It's just, man, never give up on yourself. It's like even if you a rapper and somebody say, hey, it's too many of them, what difference does it make?
Yeah.
That's like saying it's too many books.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, we need as many interpretations because we all got God's nature in us, man. So we gotta do God's work. If he tell you do something, do it.
Amen. You preached over here to say.
Hey, I heard enough sermons playing keys at church.
Right. Got a pass the collection plate around over here, bro.
Hey, tip the pianist.
Man, but I appreciate you coming on, man,
sure,
rocking with us, bro.
Yep.
Being on the show.
Yep.
Man, open invite. Make sure you follow him, The Trap Pianist, on all social medias. Hopefully we got to come back. You come rock with us again.
For sure.
Go check out
We
his.
in Dallas now, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Go check out the Lyrically Correct. See how well he did with the Legally Correct with the game. He did it. He had a high score, man.
We all start.
He had a high score. Make sure you're going to go like and subscribing us on Instagram, YouTube. Follow. It's very important for you to subscribe and follow. Yeah, I know y'all watching the videos, but subscribe and like, that goes a long way. Please be sure y'all doing that. I want to end it off on a positive note too. Get your Birdman hands together, rub them together. Tell yourself, I will boss up financially. I will boss up spiritually. I will boss up mentally. And I will boss up physically. Invest in yourself. It's your boy Ray. Ray's podcast. We out. Salute.
Hey, get money all day, get money all night. Sip my drink home, let's get right. Getting paid, I'm getting paid. Roll one up, let's catch this flight. Hey. Get money all day, get money all night. Sip my drink, ho, let's get right.